In a time where everybody's going after Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4, everybody's going after a Nintendo Switch, or even Ghost Recon Wildlands, I kind of levitated more towards LEGO Worlds. I don't know why, I like LEGO. LEGO Worlds. I'm a pretty decent fan of LEGO. I like the games, I like the LEGO movie, and of course I really love LEGO itself. So the announcement of a LEGO Worlds game in the style of Minecraft was pretty intriguing, to say the least. So I've had it for about a week, and how does it fare? Let's find out. Now obviously one of the main comparisons to LEGO Worlds is Minecraft, but one thing LEGO Worlds seems to offer over Minecraft is it actually has a sense of leveling up. Gold bricks, which you may have encountered if you played other LEGO games, and they're a sense of leveling up, like you collect one, you level up, and I've got about 60 something, and the leveling up, instead of just giving you everything to begin with, kind of adds, well, actually I don't really know what the gold bricks do. You get trophies. There's this character called the Troublemaker, who's this little green minifig, and he kind of like pops up out of the ground and has like a Lego brick in his hand, and he'll run around with it. You as your character have to go and chase after him and get that Lego brick off him, because you don't currently have access to that Lego brick to use in your own builds. You have a very limited amount to start with, and you collect them through doing stuff like this. I think there is another way to get them. I think you can find special Lego bricks, but I haven't come across them yet. It helps add a much needed sense of progression, in my opinion. There's not really a sense of story in LEGO Worlds, so instead what you do is you end up on an open world, and it's inhabited by NPCs, and you go around and take tasks by them, and usually that entails of like, oh, you have to repaint a building for them, or you have to build like a little hut for them to keep safe, or in some cases you have to like take a picture of them with a specific item in the background or a specific vehicle. Yeah, so I'm a level 69 on this, I'm a level 10 with 69 gold bricks. And I currently have over 1 million studs, which you can use to unlock the characters that you discover using your little discover tool. You come across a character or an item, for example, you'll discover them, and then it adds that to your item list, and you have to first unlock that with money before you can have access to use it. It's a bit odd, but it gives a reason for the studs being there, really. But I have 1 million of them, and I'm not really using them that often. And as well as that, there's many ways to get around the world, such as horses, dogs even, you can ride dogs, pigs, sheep, vehicles such as cars, airplanes, and sea vehicles such as submarines. So there's a lot of ways of travelling about and getting around the world, so it kind of adds a bit of variety to the gameplay. As well as this, there's a huge range in what you have to build, or can build, have the option to build. You unlock instruction manuals every so often, like you'll find them in chests, or characters will just randomly give you them if you complete a task for them. And this allows you to have a set structure, like a Lego building or something that's been pre-built, and you can use your discovery tool to place it down in the world wherever you want, and you can enter that house or building or whatever else you may have built. So that's pretty cool, but you can also brick by brick build your own structures or buildings, which is also pretty awesome. That's kind of what you want from the game, and it does deliver on that front. Camera can be a bit awkward, as a lot of reviewers have pointed out, but I would say it's improved in the official release over the beta, so it's not too bad. You also get a copying tool, so you can copy, like for example, there's a tree over here. You can copy that tree because it's made out of pre-built Lego bricks, and you can use your copy tool to copy and save that tree build and use that in your own world, using the discovery tool to put it down. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It has a huge range in biomes. Biomes are like the areas that you discover, like for example this is a forest area, but there's a lava area, there's a desert area, and there's all these other ones that you will come across. There's actually quite a lot, and I was really surprised at how many I've come across. There's probably a good 5 or 10 different ones. Somebody just ran me up. And right now that Troublemaker is currently running off with a little item being chased by a lion. Can't kill the troublemaker. Take him down! Now he's probably going to kill me once he's gone. No, he's leaving me alone. This is another little issue. Sometimes you kick the Lego brick a bit so they can activate. It is hard to come across these worlds, especially in the beginning, because you're literally restricted to small worlds to access. Like really tiny worlds that you can just literally walk from one end to the other. But as you eventually progress, I can't remember exactly what level, but it does take a few hours, you do unlock medium worlds, and that's when stuff starts really opening up. And I think it was when I got to that on large worlds that I thought I'd seen everything, but then I randomly came across a little small town with huge houses and blocks of houses and buildings and little parks and a town hall and everything and shops that I could copy and paste into my own world. It was really cool. And a lot of new NPCs I hadn't seen. And another thing about the NPCs is if you complete a task for them, you can now discover them, purchase them, and then use to customize your own character, which is awesome. You can actually fully customize your character. Well, I say fully, I mean like use pre-existing character specifics that you've come across and use them on your own character. You can't like change the color or that I know of, which is a bit of a shame. But another thing about the NPCs is there's a lot of them, and it really helps make the worlds feel very vivid and alive, which is something I didn't really get with Minecraft. I know that's the obvious comparison, so I will be making Minecraft comparisons every so often. Like, Minecraft felt very lonely and isolated, which worked in its own sense, but I got bored. I just felt too alone. I mean, I could play with a friend, I guess, but some people don't have friends. So having NPCs makes it feel like you're popular for once. It's really fun to come across and enter a town that is actually inhabited by actual NPCs that get in cars, move about, will interact with you. To me, that really helps add a bit more immersion to the game. Though, and this might be getting into the negatives of the game, and I do have quite a few, unfortunately. Though it does feel alive and vivid a lot through the NPCs and discovering new towns every so often, there is a lack of a score in the actual gameplay, and this was the same case in Minecraft for the most part, but that did have a score every so often. There'll be a lot of the times when you're just running about or building structures for like a good hour or so, and it's just quiet. You just hear like chit chatter in the background by other characters. It just feels empty half the time because there's not really that sense of music. Whereas in the menu sequence there is a really cool score going on. It's really jazzy and upbeat, and it's all cool, and you can dance to it, and I kind of do every so often.
Welcome to LEGO Worlds.
And that's what I want. I want that. That makes it fun and exciting. That makes you want to play the game more. But that's not in the actual game. And there's nothing like that in the actual game. I've come across some music speakers that do play a bit of music, but it's really faint. And that took me, and I only came across that yesterday, and I've been playing for a week. So it is quite a quiet, empty game for the most part. Unless you're in like a large town, I guess it would be quite vivid and alive and noisy. Not necessarily bad, but just something that I had a little issue with. It does get repetitive pretty quickly. It's maybe 5 or 6 hours. You do start to feel like you've seen and done a lot of what there really is to offer in this game. Because in the end, there's not really that much variety. Like I said, there are tasks that the NPCs give you, but you eventually become aware that you're just recycling those tasks over and over again and doing the same thing over and over again. And I mean, as much as the troublemaker is an interesting concept and way of progressing in the game, he shows up a little too frequently and will often interrupt the quests and tasks you're on for other NPCs. And there's a problem with the game where if you leave a certain area of the game world whilst doing a task for one of the NPCs, that task will just automatically cancel and be as if it never started happening, and you might be like halfway through doing that task, but you'll be busy chasing this troublemaker, and he'll be run off way into the distance, and you'll be busy chasing him and realise that the quest's cancelled behind you. So that's annoying. And like I said, he shows up a bit too much. You'll be really into the funness of building a building, for example, and then all of a sudden you'll hear and there'll be the little troublemaker stand behind you like, sort of thing that he does, and then he'll run off, and you're like, oh, well, he has the block that I want. So controls as well are very clumsy. From dangling on ceilings that don't seem to go in the direction that you control your character to go in, to the awkward camera angles, to the incredibly bad combat mechanics. Especially when it comes to firing a weapon. Like, I find I have to often enter the restrictive first-person mode. Nowadays you do get the little gun in the first-person perspective, so you do get a bit more first-person visuals, because I don't think that was present in the beta, but it's really zoomed in when you're in first person, and it doesn't feel natural, and it feels really forced. But when you have to defeat a NPC, for example, and they have 4 hearts as lives, you have to really get it out quick and bang, 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 bang. But you have to enter first person to begin with to do so, and then as you're walking backwards whilst this NPC is running at you, you have to click circle on PlayStation all the time to fire. I think it's circle. It's either circle or square. Actually, it's square. And then all of a sudden you stumble across some weeds or something, or grass, and your character will drop his gun and start hitting the bush. And that's because the controls have hitting objects as the square button the same as shooting a gun. And now this NPC that wants me dead, he's come and killed me, and I've lost all chance to get like a gold brick, for example, off this task that I needed to do. The controls should be tightened quite a lot, in my opinion. And on top of this, there is the terrible item equipping system. You know how in like GTA or something, you'll push a button and it'll pause time or slow down time down, and it'll give you a wheel, a weapon cycle wheel. Yeah, Lego Worlds doesn't do anything like that. Like, you'll have a good 40 or 50 items at the same time on you, like guns that'll be randomly spread across this item list of 50 or 40 things, and the camera will be on the other end. Instead of having a weapon cycle wheel, you just tap left or right to cycle through each individual one. And when you're in combat, or you're literally seconds away from entering combat, it'll be really time consuming to stand still and cycle through like your camera, your crystals, your food, your baguette, your sword, to get to that gun that you desperately need. And it slows everything down, and you're dead before you know it. It's just a big problem, in my opinion. And lastly, I just don't think it's fun enough. A simple story mode would have helped a lot. Like I said, I just feel like I've already done everything and seen everything and done all the tasks and built what I really wanted to build. I mean, I do keep getting surprised by what I come across, the new areas and new biomes that I didn't think the game even had, such as I came across a small town, or like last night I came across a scrapyard. But like I said, other than the NPC tasks, there's not really much to do, except like discover new Lego brick pieces and creations, or search for hidden treasure, which you constantly are doing if you want to, because there's too much treasure and it pops up on your map, so it's not really that hidden. You just have to find which level across all these different layers of bricks the treasure is at. It's not really much of a challenge to get there. There isn't really much consequence in the game either. Like, you'll be killed and you'll drop a few coins like you do in other Lego games, and you do sometimes drop an item, but you spawn right next to where you died and you just quickly go and grab it, and nobody's attacking you anymore. You don't really have any losses. You haven't lost anything. There's no creepers in the games that can blow your stuff up, really. It's just a bit bland, really. There's no consequences in the game. And with it being a Lego game, I actually barely find myself actually using brick by brick building system to build anything, and I'm not exactly sure why. So yeah, in the end, I guess it's a fun game. It's fun for the most part, as long as you come across the variety that the game does offer in the end. It's just a shame that it does become bogged down by the repetibility and lack of story, and the really bad controls. But if you can get past that, building Lego is really fun, and that is something that I will be going back to the game for every so often, because it's pretty much everything you want in that sense. I like the game. I like the game overall. I do. I like it, but it is disappointing. So my overall rating, I guess, would be 7 out of 10. Not too bad. That's actually decent. That's good. That's like kind of good, between a good and a very good, in my opinion. So good job. So good job, Lego Worlds. Good job. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please. Bye. Let's unmute this BBH.